Hey, everybody, welcome. Today, we're going to be talking about how to start fixing your hormone imbalances naturally. And as my motto would be, go big or go home. Hey, everybody, I'm Maggie, UMD, functional and holistic medicine physician, and the creator of the Transform protocol to transform your autoimmune disease naturally and your hormones naturally. Today, we are talking and following up on hot topic around hormone imbalances. And I hope you guys didn't miss last week's big training that we did around what are some symptoms that you have that are actually hormone related. What is a checklist for hormone imbalances at any age for women and for men? So I went through that in exquisite detail last week. And those of you who are watching this week, if you want the checklist, go ahead and write checklist in chat right now in the comment section and check your message request in a couple hours, and our team will get you the checklist to you because really importantly, you got to know if your hormones are jacked up or not in the first place, right? And what hormones are actually hormone related. I know we had a lot of feedback, a lot of questions, a lot of people downloaded got the download from us with the checklist for all the hormone imbalances at any age. And it generated a lot of questions around, wow, that's really great to know that there are really a lot of these symptoms that I think are related to um, autoimmunity example or headaches or gut symptoms, mental health or pain. I had no idea that they were actually related to hormone imbalances. And the truth is, yes, yes, and hell yes, they are hormone related. And anybody who've been through our programs also know that. Many people through my hormone masterclass, which is our Transform Your Hormone program that people do, have learned that that by turning around their hormones, they can see some big results in a really short period of time, right? But people also know in our Transform Autoimmune program that hormone transformation is one of the biggest pillars of Transform. It's one of our 5 pillars, in fact. And they also know that that hormone pillar is connected with all the other pillars of Transform. So hormones is not a little deal. It's kind of a big thing. And it's kind of a big Dr. Maggie you thing because it's a huge part of my own journey. Many of you will already have known my own history is that being a practicing physician now for 26 years, yes, I again date myself. Um, what I found out was that after my first 10 years of family medicine practitioner, when I had 2 kids, one after the other, age 30, 31. And after each of my children, I found my health completely crashing and deteriorating. I lost hair. I had weight gain. I had severe diarrhea, C. diff infection in my gut. I had joint pain, depression, and hair loss. You named it, weight gain. And it got worse and worse. And I even got diabetes during both my pregnancies, eventually requiring insulin. So I had no idea back then it was all autoimmune related. I had even no idea that all of those were even hormone related at all. And I had no, and even later when at 36 I went into early menopause, me being a family physician and I have many specialist colleagues, friends. I was just told that I had early menopause at age 36. I was told, hey, Maggie, you're just getting older. And I'm like, I don't think so, George. I don't think I'm getting older. I think there's no reason a 36-year-old should have the hormones of a 96-year-old and should have physical symptoms of a 96-year-old or illness like this. And I had to fight. I had to fight really hard to learn for myself, really about hormone balancing, right? And later on, only to discover after I worked on balancing my hormones that lo and behold, it was also the almost early symptom and indicators of autoimmune disease in me. That this whole time underneath it all was autoimmune issues that were being triggered by all these hormone changes. So, hot damn, hormones are really linked with autoimmunity, and hormones are really linked with our quality of life. And even as an educated, trained physician, I didn't know anything about how to balance hormones. And I certainly didn't know that they were linked to my worsening autoimmune issues. So, yeah, they're all connected. So, how many of you have already downloaded the checklist? I wanted to find out from you. Was that helpful? If that was super helpful for you, comment in chat. What did you learn from going over the checklist last night? What one symptom surprised you is actually hormone related that you had, that you actually knew and suspected, but everybody else, including your doctors, told you was not hormone related? What one symptom did you learn that surprised you was a hormone imbalance? And those of you that are alumni of my Hormone Masterclass or Transform Autoimmune, if you could type in chat, what has turning around your hormones meant to you? What has changed in your life, and what quality of life difference has it made? That would be great. Today, what we're going to talk about, we're going to jump right in, is we're going to talk about how do you get started? You have done the checklist, okay? And many of you are already typing you want the checklist. If you want the checklist, type checklist in chat and check your message request. A couple hours later, our team will get back to you. Get the checklist, right? You've done the checklist. You know your hormones are jacked. And many of you already know that it's triggering and feeding your autoimmunity. So how the hell do you get started in dealing with it? Well, yeah, there's a lot to unpack there, right? I could write, it literally is a master's degree and how to turn around hormones naturally, because there's a lot of, intricacies to it. But I'm going to jump right in on this topic today, which is what are some natural supplements that you can start to kick some hormonal ass? It's that simple. Remember, I said go big or go home. So for me, I can highlight for you that I have a whole list of supplements that are really great for starting to balance your hormones. And if you want the whole starter list of how to balance your hormones, type me in chat with an exclamation mark at the end. Make sure you type the exclamation mark in the end, because go big or go home. I want to know you really want the whole list of how to turn around your hormones. So the starter pack. What are some starter supplements that really will start turning around your hormones today? You want the whole list? Type me with an exclamation mark in chat. And those of you that are watching from YouTube, welcome YouTube, and thanks for commenting in YouTube as well. What I want to highlight is one of the items that we always talk about is in our store, and it's called Love Her. And we can provide the link to our store below if you're interested. But for me, it's really important for you to get educated. So get the guide. So make sure you type me with exclamation mark to get the guide. But you can find these products at the link to our store, which you will see in the comment section below. This product specifically is called Love Her. But what makes Love Her so lovable, and why does everybody, regardless whether you're a man or woman, why is this the supplement? What ingredients are in it that naturally is the best starting place for turning around your hormones? Well, literally, the ingredients list is long because I figured out what are some of the things that work really well together. So it's not like just one supplement alone, it's the combination of certain supplements that work really well together. But what exactly is in Love Her that really kicks ass? Here's for your education. Number one is DIM. DIM is actually a naturally occurring compound that is in a lot of what we call cruciferous vegetables. DIM is super helpful in decreasing the amount of harmful estrogens that are in your body. So DIM that's why a lot of people, when I talk about not just supplements, but even food, what is the number one food that you can eat to help balance any hormone problem around naturally, is foods that contain a high amount of DIM. And that would be cruciferous vegetables would be things like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. Those would be definitely, and there's a whole long list. People in our program who's been eating a ton of cruciferous vegetables, tell people your results. Dorothy, I see you there. I see a lot of our alumni chiming in right now. Thank you to our alumni. So DIM is one of the ingredients in our cruciferous vegetables that's really great at decreasing some estrogens. And what you find is that in men and women, in almost every hormone imbalance scenario, some of these toxic breakdown products or toxic forms of estrogen can really build up and can really cause a lot of disruption and imbalances in your body. So a lot of DIM is great, but DIM in combination with other herbs work even better. So DIM is one of the ingredients in Love Her that's kick-ass, but you can also do that by eating a ton of cruciferous vegetables. Ton. Next ingredient that I'd like to talk about in it is something called Pro-Cal-G. Or I'm sorry, that's my name for it. Calcium D-glucarate. Calcium D-glucarate, just to give you guys a little medical background on this, is hormones are really broken down first phase in your liver. Second phase is going to be in your large intestine. And you got to have both steps working to really break down the hormones, break it down further, bind it, and carry it out. Basically, I think about it that way. So I think of certain supplements like DIM and turmeric and Chase as helping the liver out quite a bit. And I see calcium D-glucarate as what helps the large intestine parts of it to get it out of your poo-poo. Okay. So that is an important ingredient, which is calcium D-glucarate, which is what is an powerful ingredient in liver. Now, who doesn't need help with her gut? Or his gut. A lot of you, when you did the checklist, learned that hormone imbalances involved a lot of people with IBS symptoms, chronic constipation, diarrhea, gas, bloating, right? So, absolutely, you want supplements that contain calcium D-glucarate in it to help with some of these hormones to help the gut out, because calcium D-glucarate really helps the gut bacteria, which is doing the bulk of the work in the large intestine, to break down those hormones further and take it out with them. So that's a really important ingredient in liver, is the calcium D-glucarate. Also, we got Chase Tree. Chase Tree is in there. Some people know the name of Chase Tree as Vitex. Naturopaths will use a lot of these herbs. Naturopathic physicians have used, right? And Chase Tree is really good for helping with progesterone balance. We need some healthy levels of progesterone to combat these issues with too high estrogen, or even people with low testosterone. Having some healthy balance of healthy progesterone production is really helpful. Chase Tree is really helpful in that. That's why Love Her is actually the number one supplement that we have in the store. It's the best thing to actually start with, is Love Her. And that's just for men, women, women of any stage. When you did that checklist, if you checked positive at any age with a hormone imbalance, Love Her is going to work for you great. And men, for any of those hormonal imbalance, men need the same breakdown in excess estrogen, same improvement in progesterone balance, same help in their gut to help carry out excess estrogens as well. So Love Her is great as a starting supplement for men and women at any age with any hormone imbalance. That's why it's in the starter bundle I recommend, right? And it's just 2 a day. That's really a great place to start. And this is, I'm just telling you, like, this is without checking hormones or anything. This is just a checklist based on your symptoms, because your body is giving you plenty of good data just from your symptoms that there are hormone imbalances involved. Okay. And someone asked just now, is this good for postmenopausal women? It's good for postmenopausal, premenopausal, during menopausal, during periods, PMS, your teenage daughters. It's good for every stage of hormone imbalance, whether you're a female or a male. Okay. And frequently, and men who have been in our program have been put on Love Her once they've seen their results and realized some of these imbalances as well. Data really is clear. When you get data in any of our programs, it clearly will indicate, oh my gosh, I do have these imbalances. But your physical symptoms right now from that checklist is going to be very telling. So use it, and Love Her is great to start. Again, if you want the whole list of all the different supplements that I think are really helpful as a starting place for any hormone imbalance, you can write me with an exclamation mark in the comment section and check your message request in a couple hours, and we'll get the whole list to you. Those of you who want the whole checklist, type checklist in chat. That'll be great. Now, the other cornerstone of hormone imbalance, a lot of you guys who've been through my trainings on the 5 pillars to transform, which is the pillars of how to turn around any autoimmune disease naturally, knows that, yes, hormone balance is one big pillar. But the second biggest pillar is blood sugar balance. Okay. So blood sugar balance is one of the biggest reasons why hormones get jacked up, and people in our programs know why. Okay. Blood sugar and hormone balance are totally linked, hand in hand. Okay. And I always say this: if all it takes is cutting sugar and you calling it good, none of you need me. Okay. But that really isn't the problem. The problem is that, the problem is that it's not about like just cutting sugar. I tell people that blood sugar fluctuates up and down like crazy, especially for those people with autoimmunity. And there are reasons for that. And this fluctuation, the rate of change from high to low hormones, low to high hormones, and high and low blood sugar and low and high blood sugar, these swings in blood sugar and these swings in hormones is what is triggering autoimmune disease. Booyah. And so what I'd like to do is just go over why Balancer is a supplement that you can get started with. That's really the cornerstone of hormone balance as well. It's the cornerstone of hormone balance because when you look at what are the ingredients in the supplement and why do they work so well together? Well, if you look at the ingredients, number 1 is berberine, and number 2 is EGCG decaffeinated green tea. What is it about green tea and berberine that's so freaking awesome for hormones and for blood sugar? Well, first of all, when you're talking about berberine, berberine is incredible for blood sugar balancing. And in fact, we call it, a lot of us functional medicine physicians call it nature's metformin. Metformin's a medication that we use for diabetes a lot to help balance blood sugar. But metformin, while it's great, has some really big downsides. Like it depletes B12, which is really crucial for so many things. So berberine actually has a lot of the same mechanisms as metformin, which means that it really effectively stabilizes blood sugar naturally, okay? Without a drug, without depleting you of other vitamins. And berberine is known to have a ton of anti-inflammatory properties. It's really helpful to support the liver. And hidden secret, berberine is really antibacterial and can be very antifungal. So how many of you are dealing with gut funk? Well, okay, berberine can deal with gut funk. So those are Dr. Maggie colloquialisms. Anyway, so berberine's really great, and Balancer typically in our program, I recommend people start with 2 a day in the morning because that's really a great time to get your liver activated to start working on balancing your blood sugar throughout the day. Balancer has the berberine in there, but it also has the kick-ass secret ingredient, which is EGCG, which is the activated form of green tea. We use a decaffeinated green tea extract in there that contains a very highly strong concentration of EGCG. What is EGCG so good for? Well, it's really great for blood sugar balancing. Yes, there it is. We talked about that. Cravings for sugar. That's why a lot of people will use green tea to help with trying to do weight loss. It's part of the mechanism is just stabilizing your cravings and blood sugar. EGCG is really helpful also sometimes for dealing with some of these more, it's anti-inflammatory. So, and it can be helpful for people with testosterone imbalances. So especially people with a lot of acne type symptoms, oily skin, hair loss, even like a lot of sugar cravings, a lot of gut symptoms. That's somebody that really needs a lot of help with the blood sugar component with the hormone balancing. Balancer is great, and Balancer and Lover work really well together. And both of those is 2 a day, right? So how much easier can you get than that? So those are the two mainstays of like the two of the probably 5 starter things that I think are incredible to balance hormones that every woman at any age should be taking. If you have any hormonal imbalances, Lover and Balancer. Of course, there's a bunch of other things that I do recommend if you want the whole list to type me in chat right now with an exclamation mark behind it, right? And what I'd like to do is just talk a little bit more about, okay, so those are some things that you can do is balance your blood sugar, eat a lot more cruciferous vegetables. And a lot of people in the Facebook group have done the water challenge. I really want to talk about why water is so important. Water is really important in balancing hormones because water actually works to hydrate every biochemical reaction that's happening to balance and break down hormones. Remember I said step 1, a hormone breakdown happens in the liver? That requires water, everybody. Remember step 2 happens in the large intestine, right? And that requires water and hydration in the stool because I'm going to tell you something kind of icky, but maybe a little too TMI, maybe a little too detailed about poo-poo, but I think it's an important concept, which is this. If you don't drink enough water, then your intestine will absorb that water from your poop. And that water contains all the toxic breakdown of hormones. Not just hormones, the rest of the toxins in your body. So if you don't drink enough water, your body will absorb it from your shit. And that will shitify your blood with tons of toxins from hormone breakdown and toxin breakdown. Who wants that, right? So this is why proper hydration is really important. And in our Facebook group, we've done the 10-day water challenge, and you guys have known what the transformative power of adequate amount of water really is. So I love that. There are lifestyle things that you can do. If you want the checklist right now, type checklist in chat. If you want the whole guide, including all the supplements that I do recommend to start balancing your hormones, go ahead and put me with an exclamation mark in chat right now. Now, last but not least, I really want to talk about, is there a strategy to really turbocharge and kick ass on hormones that's based on an educational model, which is what I talk about all the time. And I think this is a discussion about my hormone masterclass, okay? And what I want to say is that imagine this, okay? Many of you have been going to doctors and going to say, I know, please check my hormones, or I know these symptoms are connected to my hormones. And what I want to point out is that doctors really don't know how to check your hormones properly. And if they don't know how to check your hormone properly, you don't know how to do it. So, really importantly, number one, step one in hormone balancing is get your hormones checked. Okay. In our program, My Hormone Masterclass, we do a saliva hormone panel. We ship that out to you when you sign up for the program. And it's really important that you have your data. That's great, right? Not only are you using your symptoms as one of the data points, now you actually have saliva hormone results of your actual hormone numbers, your data, to reinforce what your body's data is giving you. You have two sets of data, which is great, right? Number two, you need to be educated on these patterns. I was just there are tons of patterns of hormone imbalance that feed autoimmunity or just plain make your life hell. And so interestingly, I just talked to someone who just finished my hormone masterclass, Kate, we'll call her. Well, I just talked to Kate today. And Kate was saying how for the last 10 years since the birth of her kids, she's been begging her doctors, and she's a very educated individual, but she's been telling her doctors that I know these headaches, I know this hair loss, or I know this the symptom with the gut is linked to my hormones. And her gynecologist or her endocrinologist actually looked at her and said, you are healthier than you think. You're fine. There you go, little lady. And that for me, and she says, and I agree with her, he's a good doctor and he's a nice man, right? It's not about intention here, but we really don't train doctors on what are the patterns of hormone imbalance. We don't train them on how to test it. Even if they got it tested for you, they don't even know what the patterns of it is. And patterns refers to the relationship between the hormones. What's the relationship between your estrogen and progesterone? What's the relationship between your progesterone and testosterone? What's the relationship between your adrenal hormones and your testosterone? What is going on with your cortisol? What's the relationship between different times of cortisol throughout the day? These are big questions, big patterns that we just don't train doctors on. So since you can't depend on doctors for that, number two is you need to train yourself on what the patterns of hormone imbalance are, right? Number three is once you learn what the patterns are, then you understand the why, right? Then you need to be educated on how do you fix those patterns, right? If that pattern is result of unstable blood sugars, how do you fix it? How do you fix it with lifestyle? How do you fix it with supplementation? And that's the thing is, I think it's really important to know that when you understand the why underneath, like that's the reason it's a root cause, then you also have your data to reinforce it. Then the how becomes easy. It's easy to do something when you know it's going to work. It's easy to do something when you know the why and it makes scientific sense to you with your own physical symptoms and your own data. Then you really understand the why, the how becomes crazy easy, right? So that's important is to really understand the why. So then the how becomes easy so that you're going to learn the how. Once you learn the how, you implement like crazy. I just taught you like 6 things to implement today. Okay. And I just taught you the why. Not only did I tell you why DIM or calcium deglucarate or sugar, blood sugar or water is good, I told you the why. And now that you understand it, the why, I also taught you the how. Now you need to implement, which is step 3. You got to implement everything that I tell you to do. Okay. And implementation is key. And number 4, see the results. Because once you start to see the results in number 4, it's so easy to have sustainability to keep doing it. Which also reminds me of another, I just did a follow-up interview with Pamela. Pamela was someone, we just did an interview. Pamela had an interview about 9 months ago, and she is recovering from her rheumatoid arthritis, and she had huge hormonal imbalances during the program. And I just got off the interview with her literally about 30 minutes before this live. And Pamela was sharing where her hormones are about 9 months later. And this is the important thing. It's like, is balancing your hormones a fly-by-night thing? You go see a doctor one time, you watch one live, you call it good? No, because hormones continue to get better and better and better over what? 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. And guess what? Do your hormones continue to change throughout your life? Yes. And here's something really important, whether it's my hormone masterclass or Transform Autoimmune. I tell everybody starting our programs this: if I do my job right, which I always do, at the end of this, I'm not giving you the answers. You have learned the skill. I have taught you the skill of how to think like me to come up with your own answers now and for the rest of your life. And that's a tall order. I mean, that is a tall order I've just given myself, but that is a promise because what I do is very different. I teach people the why, the how, right? And so that you can understand and troubleshoot through it, even if there's variations of the pattern when you retest. Pamela just rechecked her hormones like a month ago. Lo and behold, her estrogen is improving. Her low testosterone is improving. Her cortisols were all over the place, improving. But most importantly, her results are sustained. Her pain now is zero. Her pain from her rheumatoid arthritis is zero. Her fatigue is still gone 9 months later. She's working out. She's back to being an athlete again. That's what it means when you have hormone balance. Okay. That's also what it means when you have hormone balance as part of your autoimmune transformation. Okay. So for me, hormone balance fuels autoimmune turnaround and sustainability. So I love the fact that there's data and repeated data of our graduates. When they retest, they can see actually the improvements. I'm just going to pause for a second, take a look at some comments here. Oh, we have some alumni here. Julie says, hormones were my biggest issue. After the Transform program, I know what to do. Julie, I love that PCU. Thank you so much. This is really true empowerment, right? Knowing exactly what to do. Dorothy, yes, she's in our program right now. She says, I learned more about hormone patterns and hormone balancing from Dr. Maggie than I ever did in medical school. Aw, Dorothy, thank you. I learned more about hormone balancing than I ever did in medical school and years of practice as well. So even as a physician, I mean, I think it takes a lot for a physician like myself and for Dorothy to really step up and really admit truly how ignorant we were about hormones until we got sick. And it took me getting really sick to get really humbled to a place where I need help, that I had to go outside the box and learn all this stuff about hormones and autoimmunity. So I really congratulate. We have lots of physicians, nurse practitioners, medical professionals who are part of our Transform Autoimmune program who share with me as well that they have learned more in this program about hormonal health, autoimmune health than they ever have in their entire careers. But I have that happen to me. So it's with full humility that I'm like, yes, it is a big educational program, a master's degree, in fact. That being said, if you're interested in learning more about my hormone masterclass, I would type my hormone masterclass in chat, and we'll have a team member reach out to you and give you some resources about my hormone masterclass, which is really our class that's only focused on hormone balance, which is huge. And it really has your own testing, your own data, educational modules, and it does currently include one consultation with me as well. So that's my hormone masterclass. If you're interested, write hormone masterclass in chat. Now, and make sure you check your message requests after the live to get all the resources that we're going to be providing you as well. Now, for those of you who are interested in learning more about the Transform Autoimmune program, for me, I think it's really important for you to understand the 5 pillars of Transform. And so if you haven't watched my training on the 5 pillars of Transform, where hormones is a huge part of it, blood sugar is a huge part of it, but we talk about food mapping and all these other pieces. If you want to know more about the 5 pillars of Transform, you just type 5 pillars in the chat and we'll get that information to you. So any of you right now, I hope that was super helpful. For any of you that are interested in getting the checklist, getting the full supplement recommendation starter list, type me in chat right now. And for those of you who are interested in learning more about Hormone Masterclass or the Transform program, go ahead and comment in chat below and we'll get to you. I hope that was super helpful. And I'm just going to, as we end this, I'm going to take a look and see what are some other feedback that we have from anything. Let's see. I think that's a wrap. That's awesome. So in the comment section below, you're going to see some links to chat with our team. So you can click the link to chat with our team above to chat with us if you want to get the guides. And there's also a link in the comment section to chat with us. I hope that's helpful. All right, everybody, that's a wrap. Happy Hormone Week. And remember what I said was, go big or go home. I hope that was big for you and you learned a ton.